Rising to your astrology for the month of October. I'm your Cosmic Girl 101, and if you're a return supporter, thank you. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to you. I trust you get some value according to the astrology and your rising sign if you're a Virgo rising. I'm a Hellenistic Western tropical astrologer for full disclosure. So we're having our second eclipse straight out of the gate on the 2nd of October this month, and we've got a full moon in that fiery cardinal yang sign of Aries. So it's a dynamic month indeed. We have your ruling planet having some very interesting aspects with other planets, which I'm sure that's what you're here for if you're a Virgo rising. What's your planet doing? Don't worry, your Cosmic Girl 101 has you covered. Now, Mercury is your ruling planet, rules the first house. He's the lord of your chart, and it's all about the self, the first house. So you're very mercurial, if you will. You are a yin, mutable, earth rising sign. So let's talk about your ruler then, shall we? Opening up the month until the 13th of October. It's only a couple of weeks. Your ruling planet continues its transit in Libra, your second house. Mercury in Libra, I mean, we're talking about an air cardinal yang sign. So taking action regarding your possessions, your assets, your finances, your wealth, developing new skills that support you and build character. You could be doing investigations and regarding weighing things up, very Libran, weighing things up, the price of any financial exchanges or purchases is something you could be experiencing when your ruling planet is transiting in Libra, your second house. On the 6th, Mercury then squares off with Mars transiting in the sign of Cancer. This is your 11th house. Mars is in fall in the sign of Cancer. Panning in very broad strokes, Mars doesn't operate well here, so you need to get creative when you are trying to iron out any nuances regarding goals for your future with some allies or people that support your career, friends dropping the ball or doing Houdini acts on you on this day could be frustrating and has an element of you feeling you need their support, but they're not around. So maybe a tricky day for you on the 6th of October. On the 8th, your ruling planet then trines Jupiter in its detriment sign of Gemini, your 10th house. Great aspect to trine, but Jupiter is in detriment. And we also have that Sun in Libra opening up the month of October in its fall sign as well. So for you as a Virgo rising, what's interesting here is possibly being pulled into a more of a leadership role with work that may tire you or could not have the financial payoff that you may anticipate. So if you're going to anchor into any contracts, be forewarned about over-exaggeration. Someone in the workplace, basically selling you a product. Yes, it's a trine. Yes, it's your ruler with Jupiter, and there is mutual reception here because Mercury rules the sign of Gemini. I think Jupiter's got more of an influence here that can be a little bit cunning and, just over-exaggeration. So just watch for that if you're going to anchor into something contractual or take on more of a leadership role that you may regret later on or may not see the financial returns as anticipated. Then on the 13th, your ruling planet now ingresses into Scorpio, the watery yin fixed sign, Scorpio, your third house until November 2nd. So from the 13th of October to November 2nd, Mercury is transiting in your third house. So because it's your ruling planet, you are on the move. Lots of short distance travel, exchanges with conversations, very social, maybe attending a lot of social events. Going over paperwork as well is something you could be dealing with, like going deep into taxes, debts, things that have been chronic. You could be finally addressing and trying to get on top of anything that's been weighing you down, connected to your immediate environment, technology, learning, teaching, etc., siblings, cousins, neighbours, all these subjects of the third house. trying to iron out anything that has felt imbalanced or too sticky or old. You may be ready to be more forensic in identifying what's working and what's not from the 13th of October to November 2nd in your third house. So expect busyness, expect your brain to be on fire. So take a break when you need to, take a beat, because Scorpio can really go down some quite deep rabbit holes and you may need to take some mental breaks and rest while you're trying to do your very best, Virgo rising. On the 30th, your ruling planet then opposes retrograde Uranus in Taurus, which is transiting in your ninth house, the top of your chart. Now, the ninth house does trine your first house, so that's a nice aspect to you, but we've got an opposition. So what you could be experiencing is feeling that you're not having any forward movement regarding education, traveling, wanting to broaden your cerebral horizons, if you will. You may be hitting a snag on the 30th of October. So just watch for um, something being delayed that you've really wanted to open yourself up to, like a missed opportunity, or you can't take that trip because of a work commitment or something in your immediate environment is sort of anchoring you and you could feel frustrated. Then on the 31st, it's Halloween. Happy Halloween if you celebrate it. Your ruling planet is trining retrograde Neptune, which is currently in Pisces, your seventh house. This is like a nice day, Virgo rising, for reconnecting with relationships, people, places, and faces that are familiar to you. Could be old business connections, people you used to work with, for example. Just having a get together, a social time in your neighborhood, for example, you reconnect with people you haven't been around for some time. So it's a really nice day to be had on the 31st of October. And you could potentially be taking some time out, taking a bit of a break on this day. And I highly recommend that for all Mercurial rising zodiac signs. You may need to just take a break and go on a bit of a hibernation retreat, if you will. Nice day to go on a day spa, go for a walk on the beach. Just a really nice day for you to do you, or just reconnecting with people that are really important to you on this day. It looks like a nice day to be had. Neptune and Saturn continue their retrograde in your seventh house, being Pisces. Saturn goes direct on November 15 and Neptune goes direct on December 7. So not too far away. We now will see some movement forward with these slow planets in your seventh house of relationships and significant others. And if you've been feeling that you've been trying to weigh things up, you're in, you're out regarding significant contracts or partnerships, be it business or intimate, from when Saturn turns direct November 15 and Neptune direct December 7, you should be well and truly quite decisive about moving forward with particular agreements, contracts, and relationships for you, Virgo rising. So hang in there. Uranus is continuing its retrograde in Taurus in ninth house and won't go direct until January 30 of 2025. Then the big news of the solar planetary transits on the 9th of October, Jupiter goes into a retrograde in Gemini, your 10th house, and it won't go direct until February 4 of 2025. Jupiter retrograde, and it is in detriment in Gemini, your 10th house of career, your professional life, your name. It's how people know you. Are you a Mrs.? Are you a Mrs.? Are you a doctor? Etc., etc. Jupiter retrograde here will potentially see you being a little bit more deliberate and really seeing the forest for the trees regarding systems and are they in line with you ethically regarding your career and your professional life. So readjustment time is great if you are in a business leadership role or you own your own business as a Virgo rising. Great time to restructure especially anything to do with legal aspects of your business, for example. So, restructuring policies and procedures is something that you could be experiencing in your workplace when Jupiter's retrograde in Gemini, your 10th house, until it goes direct February 4 of 2025. And potentially, you may also be experiencing feeling you need to create more of a healthy balance regarding your work, or changing your jobs, or just leaving an actual position that you've been connected to for some time as well. And maybe going back after February, for example, you just may need time out. On the 11th, we also, the other big news is Pluto, which has been retrograding in Capricorn, now stations to go direct. This is your 5th house of joy and pleasure. Yay! Pluto going direct now. Things will start to pick up momentum in the 5th house. Topics of children, your creative projects, your investments, anything to do with romance and dating and partnerships. Lovely. Pluto direct, you may start to really open yourself up to get yourself out there if you're single, and get out there and mingle. Pluto direct now will have you feeling a little bit more certain about what gets your adrenaline pumping. That's the 5th house. It's sports, athletics. It's the house of fame. And we have your house of adrenaline, where Pluto's been transiting for quite some time, since 2008 actually. Will be ingressing into the sign of Aquarius, your 6th house. So a nice time to establish for yourself, having certain things in place that are long-term connected to your sense of joy and pleasure, that are going to last, stay the distance. So an interesting transit for you as a Virgo rising. And thank the goddess, Pluto is now going direct. So things are now taking shape and form that are quite tangible in your 5th house. The sun in a Libra is in its full zodiac sign. Your 2nd house is transiting here, opening up the month of October until the 22nd. So the first 3 weeks, you've got that sun in that 2nd house lighting up, if you will, putting the heat on, creating balance, harmony, and equality and efficiency when it comes to your 2nd house. Topics being finance, possessions, assets, resources. And that sun in its full position, you could just be feeling drained with your resources as well. So if you're feeling that, you're paying money for your property, or you're investing in money and it's becoming a little bit now, it might be a great time to cut your losses and get out of anything contractual that's been weighing you down regarding your finances, assets, and possessions. That's your astrological advice. On the 13th, the sun trines retrograde Jupiter in Gemini, your 10th house. Jupiter's in detriment. Jupiter only went retrograde on the 9th of October. So when the sun and fall in Libra is trining that Jupiter in detriment, Gemini, your 10th house, this may be the day where you are seeing things about how they really are regarding work and career, and how it lines up with your future assets and your sense of wealth and well-being. So even though it's a trine, and we are talking about planets that respectfully in of themselves are quite abundant and life-giving, they're in zodiac signs that I particularly like being in. So it might be the necessary evil to cut your losses and leave a job, or just accept the paycheck. It is what it is. It's like a necessary evil, if you will, to get what you need for the time being. But it just might not be a fun thing for you to do or accept on the 13th of October. But then the next day, the sun is squaring off with Mars in Cancer, your 11th house. And we've got that Mars in fall, we've got that sun in fall. So we've got these planets that really aren't happy. And then you've got a square with Sun and Mars. And this is like peacocking and like power dynamics that are really draining your resources, with beneficiaries or people that help you with your career, friends, problems with friends, and could be financial interactions, or in aspects with you and friends. Like you pay the bill for the dinner. I didn't agree to that, or I didn't say book that holiday and factor me in. I know there's a cheaper deal. Something really just annoying like that could be occurring on the 14th of October for you. Then on the 22nd, the sun ingresses into Scorpio, that fixed watery yin sun of Scorpio, your third house, until November 21st. So the sun stepping into your third house on the 22nd is having you really being aware of your environment and education, short distance travel, your vehicles, your technological gadgets, siblings, cousins, your neighbours, of what works for you, what is emotionally driving you to stay in these environments. And the sun can really illuminate what's always been, or there could be some secrets revealed in the family, for example, or in your neighbours, giving you some information that's quite juicy or gossipy. Could be something you could be experiencing when the sun is transiting in that very clandestine, watery, fixed sign of Scorpio until November 21st. But if you've got anything good to look forward to, which you do, the third house sextiles your first house. So you may be enjoying gossip or enjoying understanding that you have an emotional connection to people, places, and faces, but also have the intelligence to know if they're a fit anymore. So not a bad transit at all for you as a Virgo rising when the sun is transiting in the third house. Yes, we have our second eclipse on the 2nd of October. The first was the 17th of September, and that was in the sign of Pisces, and that was your 7th house, Virgo rising. Feel free to leave any comments if any events happened that day that were quite poignant for you. I welcome interaction with my audience. New moon solar eclipse. So in being in that eclipse cycle, if you will, which we are all in, it has that mysterious, mystical, ethereal, anything could go sensation about it. And things can be closed down, things can begin, they could be abrupt, or they can be a welcome ending or a welcome beginning. Depends what side of the fence you sit on. But this new beginning is in your second house of finance. So for you as a Virgo rising, I would be taking a beat, taking a time in making significant contractual agreements that affect your finances, or potentially pulling the pin on an investment or something contractual. You sort of get unstuck cosmically, if you will. If you've planned to begin something and something takes a hard right turn, think of it as the cosmic energies of the eclipse helping you out, even though you may feel some sort of frustration or it's something's not fair. You may be cosmically getting out of a bind that later on you'll start to understand, but not right now. So it could be a difficult day for you in that financial aspect of your life. That could be quite unpredictable on the 2nd of October. Then on the 17th, we've got that full moon in Aries, and this is your 8th house of shared resources and assets. I mean, we're planning in very broad strokes here. The 8th house is tax, debt, inheritance, investments, contractual investments with other people. And you have a full moon here in that fiery cardinal yang sign of Aries. This looks like a day for you, Virgo rising, where you possibly are really trying to release yourself and create more freedom with your resources or how it's connected with other people. This is like you maybe emotionally charged to take some acute action regarding cashing in on an investment, selling a property or an investment. You need to pay that tax debt, for example. You need to get on top of something financial, or even a partner if you are partnered up, be it intimate or professional. They could feel an urgency or see a loss of an investment or asset, or want to do or make some acute or take acute action regarding finances that really are important to you, that could throw you off. Why I say that? Because Aries is that zodiac sign that is acute. It takes action without looking at the long-term consequences at times. And if there's anything that you feel there's an immediate feeling of something needs to happen now, that's your red flag. That's your red flag, Virgo rising, that something's off, or something is being abrupt, like bubbling or abrupting, and can have you feeling exacerbated or heightened. And that is the time to take a beat, develop strategies and skills, and maneuver through difficult conversations or decisions connected to your finances. Um, because you may need to have more tact on this day, even though you may want to rah, or your partner may be losing it, if you will. um, just take a beat on this day before you, especially, are drawn into anything contractual, because it is your eighth house of finances and contracts. And we don't want to be sucked into something we can't get out of for some time. But if you're feeling the heat with that full moon in Aries, and you're feeling the pressure, that again is your moment to know that something doesn't feel quite right on the 17th of October. Venus, our personal planet of attraction. Well, opening up the month, she's still in the zodiac sign of Scorpio, her detriment sign. When a planet is in detriment, it's contrary to its character, because Scorpio is the planetary ruler of, Mars is the planetary ruler of Scorpio, and Mars and Venus are naturally the solar opposites. So you got Venus in Mars's zodiac sign, your third house, until the 17th of October. Venus in Scorpio, she just wants what she wants, and that is the end of it. She's intense. She's driven to uncover anything clandestine, and will enjoy going deep down some in rabbit holes. And this is your third house. So interesting transit for you, as a Virgo rising. When Venus is transiting in your third house in her detriment sign of Scorpio until the 17th, it's just like having a neighbor knock on your door and discuss something with you that they've had a problem with for like 7 years. It feels like something really odd like that could happen, or a cousin or someone in your immediate environment, a place that you frequent often, um, turns around and they come up to you and say something that is, it's got history to it, and you just don't understand why they're coming at you now with this information. So this is the odd things that you could be experiencing, or finding out that, someone in your coffee shop that you go to every day where you get your coffee just all of a sudden says, oh, look, I here's my phone number. I've been into you for 5 years. And this is something that could happen. You could meet someone in your local environment and have a real connection. But because she's in detriment, Venus, she'll have some emptiness about her and really forward, because it's Mars. So you might be caught off guard by people's advances in your immediate environment that throw you off, or have a history with revealing some intense information. So, yeah, interesting transit for you. On the 8th, Venus trines Mars, which is in Cancer in fall in your 11th house. So Venus and Mars now lining up, the two cosmic lovers are lining up now. And what's nice about this is you've got mutual reception, because Mars is the ruling planet of Scorpio, where Venus is, and she's trining Mars. So this is like reconnecting with friends, people, places, and faces that you really do enjoy getting together with, a bunch of buddies and going on a trip together. Um, planning a holiday, something really nice lands on this day for you to enjoy, especially in your your day-to-day habitual space. You know, it's like you come across someone that's really interesting and you create and strike up a conversation. You have a great friendship developing on this day moving forward. It's like a serendipitous day, so not a bad day at all on the 8th of October. On the 14th, Venus opposes retrograde Uranus in Taurus, your ninth house. Now, Venus is a planetary ruler of the sign of Taurus, and she's opposing retrograde Neptune there in your ninth from your third. So Venus, you know, if you've got an opposition, I always say the planets have got the shits. They're just, no, don't want to play. It's a dummy spit, there's a problem. So Venus has a problem with Uranus retrograde in your ninth house. So Venus is opposed to things not having traction or movement. Nothing's changing. And this could be frustrating you regarding future plans for travel, education, legal situations, for example, as well. Ninth house is connected to legalities, spiritual and philosophical aspects of your life. This is the day where you could come up against wanting to disconnect from a spiritual path or a belief that you've had in your everyday practices. For example, it's like Venus is opposed to the same old, and it could be frustrating because that ninth house is about expansion and growth, international and foreign connections. So you could be hitting a snag on this day. Venus is just frustrated with nothing happening or nothing changing or things being the same, and you could just feel agitated on the 14th. On the 17th, she then ingresses into Sagittarius, your fourth house, until November 11. Lovely. Venus in the fourth, really nice transit because we're talking about your home. We are talking about your actual dwelling, property, real estate concerns, family, parents, parenting, ancestry, your lineage, the history of your family, and Venus is transiting here, which is the great attractor. So what you potentially could be experiencing is loving renovating your home, really enjoying investment payoffs, redecorating, finding more harmony and balance in family. Not a bad transit at all for you when Venus is transiting in Sagittarius, your fourth house, from the 17th of October to November 11. There is something to point out here because it's important. Jupiter, which is the planetary ruler of the sign of Sagittarius, is currently transiting in the sign of Gemini, its detriment sign, your 10th house, opposing this fourth house. So when you pull in these nuances, this is where you may also be experiencing your career, your work, the changes and adaptations that are going on there could be slowing things down, progressing in the fourth house topics that could frustrate Venus as well. So needing to work to pay off debt regarding a renovation, being distant from a partner because you have to work, because you've got to do what you've got to do. You could be experiencing that one because Jupiter is retrograde in its detriment sign of Gemini, your 10th house. So there's that tension also to be aware of, even though I believe it'll be a really nice transit. Just watch for things not progressing as quickly as you may like. Just enjoy life. Welcome to planet Earth. Welcome to the frustrations and delays that happen to all of us. This is just something you may be trying to juggle with this transit. Mars, our personal planet of action, the planet of conflict, passion. It's that animalistic planet that just goes for it. couldn't give a hoot about the consequences. It'll bulldoze to get what it wants. Doesn't really care about the collateral damage it leaves behind. Can be very autonomous, very bulldog association with Mars. But Mars can also get the adrenaline pumping and have you moving and taking action, being brave enough to cut things out, get things done, give you energy. If you're feeling a lag in energy when Mars is transiting in a great part of your chart, it's a helpful planet to have for getting things done and eliminating anything in its path. And Mars can be very strategic, develop new skills, and learn how to maneuver around conflict in a very smart and intelligent way at times as well. So Mars is, in short, can be a great planet, but it could also create a lot of war and conflict along the way. So for you as a Virgo rising, Mars opening up the month of October all the way up until November 3rd is transiting in Cancer, your 11th house of allies, beneficiaries that support your career and your professional life. It's a house that's very social. It's where we're going, we connect with our bodies. We are proactively integrated with different groups and communities because we've got a meeting of mind. We like each other. There's a mutual respect with the people in the 11th house, and it's a house of friends, and we like being with our friends. So Mars is transiting in fall in that 11th house. So this is potentially a lackluster transit regarding action and a feeling that you're having fun. Could just feel like it's hitting a snag connected to your 11th house topics and your sense of social outings or invitations. It's like you take up the option to go to a party and then a water pipe breaks, for example, in the house, and then the party stops and everyone has to go home. That's that sort of potentially difficult thing that you could experience when Mars is in falling Cancer in your 11th house. Social events or parties don't go to plan. Someone ends up with the shits and turns the table upside down and you don't know why. Well, it's because of a conflict that happened years ago. Things that are silly but are very intensely felt with Mars in Cancer. So it can be a tricky transit to navigate, even though that 11th house is quite social and you have a lot of support there. It just feels like there could be conflict with your supports, conflicts with friends, or just things falling short, unfortunately. On the 24th, Mars sextiles retrograde Uranus and Taurus in 9th house. And so this looks like a pretty good day in regards to ironing out any conflict with plans for the future, anything to do with educational pursuits, long distance travel, legal problems or aspects of your life, if you have any at all, can be sorted between you and friends or people that you're connected with in groups. Things could start to ease up, or the pressure valve could be released, and you're just having an easier day with friends, allies, and beneficiaries connected to international and foreign connections, education, travel plans, etc. Not a bad day at all on the 24th of October. Then the 28th, Mars is trining retrograde Neptune in Pisces, your 7th house. Beautiful. This looks like a nice time to plan that holiday and plans actually sticking, returning to a place that is quite pleasurable regarding going back over old business contracts and actually signing on the dotted line. You finally land the big deal on this day. Not a bad day at all on the 28th of October. Then Halloween, the 31st, the moon is transiting in the sign of Scorpio. Traditionally, it's fall zodiac sign. This is your third house, so it's in a waning phase, so it's dying in light. Trining Mars and Cancer, your 11th house. What I like about this day and why I've included a lunar day connected to a planet is because you have some intense feelings and emotions that can really be put to bed once and for all on the 31st of October regarding friends, anything with groups, places that you frequent on the day-to-day. Things look really potentially nice to just finally put a lid on anything that has felt sticky or too difficult to address or look at. This is the day to finally have the purge, the conversation, the revelation, and have mysteries finally revealed so they can heal regarding the third house topics, short distance travel, siblings, cousins, your neighbors, technology, your local environment. It just looks like something's now coming to resolution. So not a bad day at all on the 31st of October. Stay cosmic, Virgo rising. Thanks for tuning into your astrology report for the month. I trust you have a fabulous one. Yeah, okay, some takeaways about the month astrologically. I mean, we're so much more than our astrology chart, yeah? It's great to have astrology as a tool and understand transits, and the planets' transits through houses is always going to give us a heads up, if you will, of the weather ahead. But we also want to be mindful that, we also live a real life and we want to be in it and be proactive. So if you're having fantastic transits and you're just staying at home under the covers and keeping it safe and playing it cool, you could be missing some real opportunities to expand. So you want to be able to connect with the transits as well, but also know when to lay low, mind your P's and Q's, and get yourself out of some sticky situations potentially also. Yes, again, for me, for you as a Virgo rising, the eclipse on the 2nd of October and then the full moon on the 17th of October. The astrological advice is know your worth, don't settle for anything less, and try not to make acute, abrupt financial decisions. Learn different strategies. If you're feeling exacerbated, you may need to take a break or step away and rethink about something that is making your blood boil on the 17th with that full moon in Aries. Just breathe, look at the terms, look at the paperwork that's involved with anything contractual is the astrological advice, and don't sign on anything or shake hands on anything until you feel absolutely intuitively certain that all the information is there for you to move forward confidently regarding anything contracts, tax, debt, loans, financing, investments. These things are going to be important for you as a Virgo rising to consider in this month of October. Very pivotal month. Ways to support your Cosmic Girl 101 YouTube channel. Book a reading. I provided the email in the description box below and at the beginning of the video. If there's something on your mind that you need illumination or clarity about regarding any astrological questions and wanting to have a look at your own natal chart, I'm happy to work with you. So connect with me at the email I've provided. And simple little things like liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell notification so you get the latest postings about your upcoming month ahead, for example, what you're listening to now. Well, these little things that you just go, oh, do I have to? They actually do help the channel grow and reach people that are also interested in the fabulous subject of astrology also. And another great way to utilize, you will, if you like, the monthly reports with your rising sign is sharing it with people that are really important to you. Like, this is what's coming up for me. I may need some help, or this is what potentially we could be looking at. Looks like the day where it looks auspicious of booking that holiday or buying that property, for example, that could help other people around you know what you're going to be dealing with as a Virgo rising. It's a great way. It's a great tool to utilize at your free will, of course. Okay, Virgo rising, that is it for me. I wish you a wonderful month. Happy Halloween if you celebrate it, and I'll catch you next time.